Tuesday, last Tuesday. I did a pretty good job of suturing it.
Are you okay?
I am just fine. I just had a mental lapse in judgment. That is self-inflicted.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well,
But I'm
it's still
good.
nice to see your face. Okay. We went ahead and started and we did the Pledge of Allegiance and the mission statement. And now Chrissy is going to read patron input for us.
Okay, great.
Okay, we have 3 patron input, and I'll start with the first one. Good evening, board members. First, I want to thank you again for the special board meeting you held on the 18th. It was very informative, discussed the issue at length, and showed that you do care what your constituents' thoughts and concerns might be. My first question during regular scheduled meeting, is there a time that you address a patron's input from the meeting before, or when do those get discussed? And I want to preface that by saying I did respond to this patron and let her know that board meetings are meetings held in public, but not public meetings, just to clarify that that part of it. So she goes on to say, when action items are scheduled, for example, the visitation that the children are able to attend next week, is there a written proposal that is submitted to you beforehand from the superintendent, one that outlines exactly step by step what will occur and what the visitation might look like? If so, is there a way that parents may see a proposal online before it's presented to the board for voting so that they may express their opinions? In regards to one action item tonight, approve, if you don't mind, I'm going to turn off that entrance exit chime so you can hear. I would ask that you postpone this vote just until your next scheduled meeting. My reason behind this is not to put any slight on Dr. Meyer, but so perhaps you may obtain patron input and how they might like to see things change or how things are good. Most superintendents' additional years are based on performance, connection with staff and parents, volunteering with the community, ability to obtain levy approval, ability to manage the school budget, etc. Last question, is there a way to get a more detailed accounting of school funds? In reviewing the budget from 2014 until now, there are quite a few discrepancies in which I would like to look further into. Thank you for your devotion to the parents and children in our district. Harvest Cling. The next one says, a message to Lakeland School Board. We request you take your time and consider extending Superintendent Meyer's contract. Because most of you are new, we suggest you survey the patrons of the district and the staff and teachers of the district before you extend her contract one more year. She still has 2 years on her contract, so there is no hurry to make a decision. Some things in the past year have caused us and many others to question her leadership abilities and judgment. 3 things come to mind immediately. 1, the $70 million bond levy that was poorly thought out and not advertised at all. 2, the fact that she was not willing to take any responsibility for the dismal 25% approval rating of the vote. She tried to totally blame the advisory committee for the results at the public meeting we attended. 3, the fact that she didn't admit to living in Sandpoint when asked at a meeting whether she lived in our district. Her answer was yes, she did live in the district, rather than explain that her home is in Sandpoint and she pays taxes in that district and stays with someone in our district on a part-time basis. These things, among others, make us question her leadership and judgment and also doubt her veracity. From Dawn and Diane Wilhelm. And then the third one, please accept the following patron input for the May 26, 2020 board meeting. In the past year or so, the school district has been faced with bond levy controversy, board member resignations, charter school administration burdens, certified staff reductions, COVID-19 school closures, and even graduation ceremony disappointment. In light of these circumstances, I would like to propose that today's agenda item L1 be denied and the superintendent's contract not be extended at this time. By passing an extension of the superintendent's contract at this time of turmoil, the board and the district will be rushed into another financial obligation without sufficient time to properly evaluate whether or not this is the best decision to be made. As a patron of Lakeland School District 272, I wish to thank the board, teachers, administrators, volunteers, and parents for all the time and dedication put into the education of the children. Regards, Dan Kudemeyer. And that's all for patron input.
Okay, thank you, Chrissy, and thank you, patrons, for your input. We're going to move on to reports and presentation. no visitor presentations, but we do have a staff report. And we want to welcome Laura Spurway and her daughter Rory. And they're going to talk about Invent Idaho and Rory's wonderful experience with that.
Oops. Oh, no, I'm gonna go first. Hi, my name is Laura Spurway. I am the District Elementary Gifted and Talented Instructor for a pull-out program for our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students. One of the things that I was lucky enough to be tasked with when I took on this job 8 years ago is running our district invention convention. I'm really passionate about inspiring creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking with our students. And I think this program does it better than anything out there nationally. Last year, our district had 111 students participate in this mission. They brought their presentations and their projects to Garwood Elementary for competition that was judged by our high school leadership students who do a great job every year. 45 of those students moved on to the regional competition. And this year we had 9 Lakeland students move on to the state competition and participate at University of Idaho. From there, we had 4 Lakeland students this year invited to the national level competition in Dearborn, Michigan. Unfortunately, that was canceled due to COVID, but they've adjusted it to an online platform so our students can still do that. We've never had more than 1 student invited, so this was a huge increase this year. And a lot of that was due to the participation of our classrooms. This year, I taught a curriculum about problem finding, researching, design, prototyping, and then also sharing out their ideas in 4 different classrooms to 130 students. We also had our advanced learning programs at all of our elementary students include the Invention Convention in their curriculum, and also had some after school programs at Garwood specifically. So we've just had a great influx of increasing the awareness and opportunities as this is open to all of our students in the district. And also proud mom moment. This is my daughter, Rory Spurway. I'm gonna give her a minute to share her experience as an inventor. She was super excited to see you, Dr. Myers. You were her admin last year. So she was excited. All right, sweetie, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, my name is Rory Spurway. I'm in 4th grade. I've been inventing for 4 years. This year I invented Sign Buddy. Little kids who who are deaf or hard of hearing can't hear the TV and can't read the closed captions. So for my invention, they get to design their own avatar and it signs what the characters are saying to them. During research, me and my mom reached out to the deaf community on Facebook and I got a lot of helpful feedback. I also emailed with a professor who is designing a sign language avatar named Paula. During regionals, I got best in show. At state, I was invited to nationals for the 2nd year. Last year, I went to nationals, but this year, obviously, I didn't get to because due to COVID. Last year, my favorite things were pretty much everything, but I liked going to the Rosa Parks bus, Thomas Edison's Menlo Park, and the Wright Brothers house. I also got to see the Wright Brothers bike shop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's a pretty amazing program, and those that have gone on to nationals get quite the history experience. It's pretty phenomenal, and I'm excited to continue it in Lakeland. So thank you guys for having us. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but wanted to make sure and share.
Wow. Thank you so much, Rory. That was wonderful. And what a great idea. I love it. I'm hoping maybe this is something that will continue and you can take that a little further and actually really help people with that, because that's a great idea. Good for you. I'd like to open it up for other trustees to ask you a question, if that's okay, if they have any questions.
Yeah.
Does another trustee have a question for Rory? Or a comment even?
Yes, Rory, you did so well. I'm so impressed with your project. And I'm wondering, do you have a friend or somebody who is in the community that would be benefiting by your invention, and what inspired you to invent that?
So my sister did swim lessons last year, and one of the little girls in it was deaf or hard of hearing, and I would do flashcards with her mom, sign language flashcards with her mom, and that's what gave me the idea.
That is so smart. I really think that you're going to be quite the amazing adult inventor as well, and I'm really proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
And I would just like to add that that is fantastic that you love to invent and to take the process through. And America needs people like you to continue on in the future. And I hope that you continue to use that brilliant little brain of yours and come up with fantastic ideas.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Laura for running that wonderful program. That's no easy task, no small task. So thank you so much for doing that and inspiring young people and letting their imagination go. I think we missed that a lot with that imagination piece and letting them run with that. So thank you so much for running that. We really appreciate all the work you do for that.
Thank you. It's really a highlight of my job and something that I look forward to every year. The kids' ideas are amazing and hysterical. They're a lot of fun to come.
Yeah, I just want to let the board know that Laura does a lot of that on her own time. She gives a lot of volunteer hours to the district. So just a real public shout out to Laura for all her work. And then Rory, I'm so proud of you. You're a great representative. A Garwood Grizzly, but you're a representative when you go to nationals of the whole school district. And it's just great to have you be a representative because you're so professional and super smart and really positive. So we like that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Rory. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. We have the official board minute. Wow. Let me try that again. The official board meeting minutes from the May 12th meeting, and then the official meeting minutes from the special meeting we had May 18th. We have HR items and then equipment disposal. Do we need to break that up probably to discuss?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So let's start with the consent agenda, or the minutes of the previous meeting. Do we have any discussion on the minutes from the previous meetings?
On the May 18th meeting, it appears that in items A, B, C, and let me see if I'm looking at the right one here. Whoops. Okay, special board meeting minutes. Yes, A, B, C. It has Chairman Olmsted calling the board meeting to order, and I'd like to point out it was Trustee Irons. He did everything up throughout the entire board meeting.
That's correct. I apologize on that one. I can
Not a problem.
That.
Not a problem.
And he did a great job. Thank you. Okay. Was there anything else? Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting from May 12th and the minutes from the special meeting from May 18th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meetings, the regular meeting of May 12th, 2020, and the special meeting of May 18th, 2020 as presented and amended.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Everyone in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
I lost Rob on my screen.
I see all eyes there.
Okay, thank you. Next is the
That was an aye.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Next are the HR items. Discussion.
I had some questions. And just thinking about budget and where we are in this lovely financial times, and looking at the different resignations and retirements, all those things that are coming through, the budget things that we've been talking about as far as staff and all those, is that number taking into account the amount of staff that we're seeing resign and retire also?
That's my understanding, but I know Mr. Wallace could probably agree to that.
Yes, it's maybe not all. We'd have to look at one-to-one for the budget that I've been working on and building. We have been, as retirement and resignations come in, if it was a position that we felt, working with the principals and Dr. Meyer, that we did not have to replace and could shift staff, then that's what's happening. And so, yeah, that's part of the reductions, is we're trying to do it through attrition.
Okay. All right, thank you. I was just curious as I was looking at all this, if I thought, well, obviously some would need to be replaced, but I didn't know how the numbers were all going to come together. So thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
No, good question. And a lot of that comes a lot more clear in our budget hearing next month. Okay, so do we have any other questions on the HR items? Can I get a motion to approve HR items?
I'll make a motion to approve the HR items as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Everyone in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Sorry.
And I forgot this on the last one. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I apologize on the last one. I didn't give that option. Do we need to review that, or is it okay? Did everybody vote aye on the last one, Chrissy? I'm sorry.
I had all eyes on that one.
Okay, next is the surplus equipment. And I think Brian can speak to that if needed. So does somebody have questions on that? Do we understand how that works?
Trustees, this is sort of an item that comes up every so often, where we do, surplus older equipment or items. Per our policy, if we've used them and their value is near zero or under $500, then we're able to sort of gather it together and get ready to go and dispose in an expedient manner. If items have a higher value, then there's a more formal process that we need to follow. But for these items, they're definitely, you can see the estimated values from our tech director. And in fact, the Dell monitors, often they charge you to take those away for disposal, because those aren't like flat screens. They're flat screen on the front, but they still have the tubes. They're a CRT monitor still, so at least the surplus recycler will work with. They'll take us the monitors off of our hands for zero, but we won't get any dollars from them. But at least we don't have to go. If we went to just the transfer station, they'd actually charge us. But yeah, if you have any questions on the items.
And really with it being under the $500, this is more just for you letting the board know that this is happening.
Yeah, we don't get, per the policy, they're still on district property. We haven't got rid of the items yet until the board gives their approval. But let's say we had an old car that's worth $2,000. I have to do more formal process, like go out for bid or do an auction. Just when it gets to low dollars items like this, we don't have to do those formal steps.
Brian, I'm just curious, are we replacing the 45 desktop computers that we're disposing of?
Yes. Actually, Chad has ordered some, and it's from the Classroom Technology Fund. So we had the resources, and we're on a ongoing cycle to replace desktops and laptops.
Okay. And then I'm just curious, if we're getting rid of 45 desktops but only 15 monitors, it seems like there's a discrepancy of 30, but are the 30 that aren't in the 15, are they like salvageable? Are we still using them? Are they?
Yeah,
have they,
often, sometimes we keep monitors
okay.
and just replace a desktop, and so often that they don't necessarily coincide with the numbers because the monitor's still working, but the desktop aged.
Okay.
So I guess that's why.
And what are the networking switches? What is that?
Switches are some of the back-end gear that helps route traffic for the internet. So
Okay.
yeah, it's really like every computer has well, either has a wireless connector or connects to the network with a cable. That cable eventually, or the access point, goes back to the switch, which helps manage that traffic and connect it to the internet. And these are really, the Cisco networking ones, these are very low end, and we've replaced that through the E-rate program.
Okay. So it's not something that's part of the desktop tower. It's an extra component. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is equipment that's in our wiring closets.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'd like a motion to approve for the equipment disposal.
I'll make a motion to approve for the equipment disposal.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and second. Everyone in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, on to the action items. We had this presented at the last board meeting as information, and now we're need to take action on it. This is for the RFP for the 2020 copier MFD hardware and service. And does anyone need Brian to clarify anything? This is what was presented last month and we discussed. His recommendation is to go with Fisher. So that's what we're approving. No questions? Any discussion of the board? Okay. Can I have, I've lost my spot. Motion to approve or deny the RFP for 2020 copier MFD hardware and services as recommended.
I'll make a motion to approve the RFP for 2020 copier MFD hardware and service as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and second. Everyone in favor say aye.
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 One opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, next is to approve or deny the bus leases for the senior parent committee sponsoring Lakeland High School and Timberlake High School senior parties while adhering to social distancing protocols contingent upon available drivers. For those that are new, every year the senior parent committee, they're the ones in charge of the all-night party. And that all-night party really is to help prevent kids from going out partying, drinking, and driving. This year, with things being the way they are, things are a little askew, but the parent committee has decided to go ahead with these parties. This is not a district party. This is put on by the senior parents. The district has nothing really to do with these parties. Fundraising is done by parents. We don't supply anything for these parties, but the committee has always in the past been allowed to rent our school buses for safe transport because, one, we don't want those kids driving. That was kind of the point. And then they're at an all-night party, and then if they have to drive themselves home, that just, to me, is a safety issue. So they have agreed to rent more buses to allow for that social distancing on the buses. I know that there are several families at least up here at Timberlake that aren't going to attend due to the virus. So the numbers won't be as large as in the past. But I feel for safety purposes, that it would be, there was a word I had. I think it's a good idea for us to allow them to rent the buses so that they're safe, because I don't want anybody to have an accident. I don't want anybody driving. So, discussion? Who wants to speak to this? I don't know who.
And Chairman Olmsted, we do have the two parents on right now that are representing each high school. We've got Sierra Wisdom and Terry Menti on that can speak to these items if you guys would like.
I think that would be good. Other board members, you want to hear from the parents?
Yeah, that would be great.
Menti.
Hi. I think that Ms. Holstead said it very well. What we're looking for is just a safe passage for kids to get to and from their parties so that they are under supervision with adults and not driving after all night of staying up and all day of staying up. And so that is our main goal all year, to raise money for this all-night party. And so that is what we're looking at. We requested more buses than we did in the past. I know in 2017 when my son graduated, we had 99 seniors that attended, so not everybody came even then. And we only had 2 buses. So that's kind of where we are standing with this request right now.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Menti.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Is it Pettis? Am I saying it right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And you're
So
with Lake, correct?
Lakeland High School, yes. Sydney and I are president and vice president this year, and we've requested, again, like she said, we requested 4 buses. We only have 96 tickets that are sold so far. 103, excuse me, that number just changed. So we've requested 4 buses as well, hoping to be able to have the social distancing available, and there'll be a chaperone on each bus. So we're hoping that that's going to be enough. We may have to request another one, but as of right now, we only see the need for 4.
Okay. And as in the past, I believe that the bus drivers, it's a volunteer thing, so it's not like we require, and then the parents are the ones who pay for that bus driver, whatever they feel is adequate. At least that's what
That
we
is
did.
correct.
We also pay for gas.
And you pay for gas. So just more formality that, but I think, these kids are having a hard time not having their typical graduation, and if they can't do this in a safe manner, and providing that bus just provides that little bit of safety, and again, it still goes back to that safety. And that's why we're doing the graduation the way we are, is because it's a safety thing. So I feel it would be remiss to not let them rent the buses, but it's up to the board. So does anybody have questions for the parents, senior parents?
I don't have questions, but I just would like to say, that this is something that we have control over. I am 100% in support of it. Give the kids something normal, so, we have an opportunity to do this where we don't feel like we're, handcuffed. And I for one think this is great that you guys have been able to put something together and still
Thank you.
give the kids something that is normal. So I applaud you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. What about liability? Where or how is the district not liable? I don't, how does that work?
Well, the district our liability insurance would cover us as an activity. Obviously, we would be liable if we did anything of negligence. But I don't believe, if a student goes off and on this side activity and doesn't do something that they're supposed to do, we're really not liable at that level for the bus driver. Perhaps Dr. Meyer could chime in. There has even actually been times where we've rented our buses out for events, let's say for raft room days and some other things, and we're covered by our general liability, and
Yeah, I was thinking more like accident or, you know, if
Yeah, I
something
mean,
like that were to happen, you know.
yeah, like let's say if there was an accident, then we definitely would make a claim with our insurance and go through that process. And you know, so it's like any activities trip in that regard. Just like
Okay.
if we drive our bus down to Lewiston for a state competition or something like that.
Okay.
But we definitely have, you know, our drivers, it's our buses, and they actually know the kids. So
Right. Yeah. All righty. I was just curious as, you know, where the liability, as long as we're covered, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Any other questions for the parents? I really appreciate you guys coming on and talking about it. We appreciate all you're doing for the kids this year. So thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
Sarah.
so I'd like oh, thank you. I'd like a motion to approve or deny the bus leases for senior parent committee sponsored Lakeland High School and Timberlake High School senior parties while adhering to social distancing protocols and contingent upon available drivers.
I will make a motion to approve the bus leases for the senior parent committee sponsored Lakeland High School and Timberlake High School senior parties while adhering to social distancing protocols, contingent upon available drivers.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further board discussion? Okay, everyone in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay. On to the discussion items, COVID-19 closure.
Okay, give you the update that we've been doing every board meeting. So this is the last full week, well, 4 days of school. Teachers will be doing their grades this week. This is the last week. As you know, we have the grading protocol, and the default in K6 is we're not going to grade. They're going to be giving comments, just reminding you. 7th and 8th grade are having, they're defaulting, and they're having pass or and we have it all worked out in Skyward, where Michelle and Chad have it worked out, where it will be a special code that they've worked with, CP for COVID-19 pass or a CI for COVID-19 incomplete. So they are working on that, and that's all figured out into the grade book right now, the online grade book, and they're actually doing a tutorials on Friday to that at the Tech Live at 9 session. The school visitation week then will be next week, June 1st through 5th, which you've all been a part of, and we have sent that out to the patron comment earlier. I've sent it out for 2 weeks in a row to the parents, and then also each school sent out the plan and addressed it at their school with more particulars unique to their school. So we have done quite a bit of communication. It's also available on our website and Facebook. So we have that plan, and the disinfectant will be happening, the system will be happening every night. So the full disinfection system, where it's sprayed and it stays, and then the next morning it's completely clean again. It's a special thing that Mr. Ferriola, the facilities director, has. And so, and you probably saw, I had, we have updated guidance for the cloth face coverings. And worked with Panhandle Health District on that. There was, we had mixed staff input that I had from the principals. Some staff really did not want to be required to wear them. All 11 principals asked me not to require. My first inclination was to require them. But then after talking with Panhandle Health District and the director, we came up with the following wording, and it is updated in your sheet in the visitation, which says, and cloth face coverings are strongly encouraged and will be available in schools for any student, parent, or staff member that requests one, and will be worn if practical. So we have that, and also on the bus, same wording for the buses as well. So that's in place. I also want the board, if you find time in your schedule, it would be great. We do have extra, Chrissy has extra cloth face coverings. If you don't have one yourself, that she has at the district office that you could have. But if you would like to join us in visiting the schools, the high schools will be starting around 7:30, going to 10:30, and then elementaries will be starting around 9 and going to about 12:30, 12:30, depending on when their lunch is. It's different for a little bit in each school. So I encourage you to stop by and thank the teachers for all of their work over this last couple of months. It's been just a really huge deal, and what they've done to step in. I know I talked about this last board meeting, but what they've done to step into delivering just the best possible education in this remote distance learning has been absolutely phenomenal. And just even the thank you from the board members would be greatly appreciated. The other thing I wanted to update the board on is the State Board of Education and the Governor's Council have, the CDC has released reentry plans for the fall, some guidance. So the State Board and the Governor's Council will be working with a task force committee on the state level that they're working on guidance for the whole state. So that will be coming soon, and it'll be all based on guidance from that national level and from the state level, and then from the health districts as well. So that information will be coming to us soon. Any questions on that? On any of that?
I do want to just publicly say that, you know, we're talking about grades and how that all looks at the end of the year. As a wife of a teacher from a different district, I know these teachers are working harder than ever trying to get these kids where they need to be at the end of this year. And it really is a challenge. And these teachers have stepped up and are doing a phenomenal job. So I just shout out to all those teachers trying to do this end of year grading. I know my husband is working countless hours, making sure all the kids have what they need to make sure that they get where they need to be by the end of the year. So just wanted to put that out there. Any questions on the COVID closure graduation ceremonies? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session per Idaho Code 742061B.
I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session per Idaho Code 74-2061B.
I need a
I'll
second.
second that.
Nope. Thank you both. Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Thompson.
Yes.
Trustee Grissom.
Yes.
Trustee Irons.
Yes.
Trustee Major.
Yes.
And Chairman Olmsted.
Yes. Okay, I want to thank everybody who is
Chairman-
online. I appreciate
Chairman,
that. Oh, yep, sorry.
I didn't know if the board had any questions on the graduation ceremonies. That was on the agenda, and we certainly do not have to talk about it if the board doesn't have additional questions. I emailed them with the governor's office and state board response, but I just didn't want to skip over it if the board had any questions on that.
Sorry, that was totally on me.
I'm good with it all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think anything, any new information has come out yet, so I'm good with it as well.
Sorry about that. Get ahead of myself. Thank you. Okay, so I kind of lost where I was. So I was going to thank everybody who's online for watching us. During executive session, though, we do have to put everybody into a waiting room except for those that are going to be in executive session. So no decisions are made in executive session, so we'll come out afterwards. I don't know how long that's going to be, and we'll come out afterwards to do any action items. Okay,
So it will, Chairman Olmsted, take me a couple minutes to place everybody in the waiting room, and then I'll let you know when I've got it all.
Good time to use the facilities or get a drink of water.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like I have everybody we need an executive session. And I'm going to stop recording.